Welcome to Heavenly Sleep Stories. In today's video, we're exploring 100 fascinating facts about ancient civilizations from around the world. From the grandeur of the Great Pyramid to the mysteries of the Maya, each fact is designed to spark your curiosity while helping you relax and unwind. This video is perfect for those who love history, enjoy learning new things, or simply want a calming experience before bedtime. Sit back, take a deep breath, and let the stories of human ingenuity, culture, and wonder guide you into a peaceful state of mind. If you enjoy traveling through time with us and discovering the wonders of ancient civilizations, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell, so you never miss a new journey into knowledge and relaxation. Relax, enjoy, and drift into the stories of the past. 1. Great Pyramid was built around 2560 BCE, tallest structure for 3,800 years. The Great Pyramid of Giza was constructed during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu and remains one of the most extraordinary architectural achievements of the ancient world. Built from roughly 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing several tons, it was the tallest man-made structure for over 3,800 years, a testament to the ingenuity and skill of ancient Egyptian engineers. The pyramid was part of a larger complex that included the Sphinx, smaller pyramids, and temples. Its precise alignment with the cardinal points and remarkable construction techniques continue to fascinate historians and archaeologists. The pyramid served as a tomb for the pharaoh, reflecting the Egyptian belief in the afterlife. Workers likely used a combination of ramps, sleds, and levers to move the massive stones, and evidence suggests that skilled laborists lived in nearby workers' villages. Originally covered in smooth white limestone, the pyramid would have gleamed in the sun, visible from miles away. Today, it stands as an enduring symbol of ancient Egypt, demonstrating their architectural mastery, cultural sophistication, and reverence for their rulers and deities. Its scale, precision, and durability make it one of the world's most iconic monuments, attracting millions of visitors and inspiring wonder for thousands of years. 2. Hieroglyphics were one of the earliest writing systems in the world. Hieroglyphics were developed in ancient Egypt around 3100 BCE and represent one of the earliest writing systems known to humanity. This complex system combined logographic and alphabetic elements, using symbols to represent sounds, words, or concepts. Hieroglyphs were primarily carved into stone on monuments, tombs, and temples, but they were also written on papyrus for administrative and religious purposes. The script was highly decorative, often incorporating images of animals, people, and objects, making it visually distinctive. Hieroglyphics played a critical role in preserving Egyptian history, beliefs, and culture, recording events, royal decrees, religious texts, and literature. Learning to read and write hieroglyphics required extensive training, and scribes held important positions in society. The discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799 allowed modern scholars to finally decode hieroglyphs, revealing centuries of Egyptian civilization. This writing system illustrates the sophistication of ancient Egyptian society, demonstrating not only communication skills but also deep cultural and spiritual knowledge. Hieroglyphics remain a symbol of Egypt's enduring legacy, offering insights into their daily life, government, religion, and worldview, and continuing to fascinate linguists, historians, and tourists alike. 3. Nile River was essential for farming, transportation, and daily life. The Nile River was the lifeblood of ancient Egyptian civilization, providing water, fertile soil, and transportation routes for thousands of years. Its predictable annual flooding deposited nutrient-rich silt along the riverbanks, allowing farmers to grow wheat, barley, and other crops in an otherwise desert environment. Agriculture along the Nile supported large populations, enabled the rise of cities, and funded monumental constructions like pyramids and temples. The river also served as a highway, allowing boats to transport goods, people, and armies efficiently across Egypt. Settlements developed along its banks, including major cities such as Memphis and Thebes, The Nile had immense cultural and religious significance as well, often personified as a god and celebrated in myths and ceremonies. It influenced art, literature, and daily life, shaping the rhythms of the society. Even today, the Nile is remembered as a vital natural resource that enabled one of the greatest civilizations in history. Its contribution to agriculture, commerce, and culture demonstrates how geography can shape the development and sustainability of a civilization, and how humans adapted ingeniously to their environment. 4. Pharaohs were considered gods on earth and ruled with absolute power. Pharaohs in ancient Egypt were regarded as living gods, bridging the divine and human worlds, and held supreme authority over all aspects of society. Their role was both political and spiritual. They governed the land, commanded armies, oversaw justice, and performed rituals to ensure the prosperity and stability of Egypt. Egyptians believed that the pharaohs were chosen by the gods, and their decrees were considered sacred law. Elaborate ceremonies and temples reinforced their divine status, and statues, carvings, and paintings depicted them as powerful and immortal figures. Pharaohs were responsible for monumental building projects, including pyramids and temples, which demonstrated their wealth and divine favor. Succession was often hereditary, with sons or close relatives inheriting the throne, though disputes sometimes led to political turmoil. The pharaoh's relationship with the people was rooted in religious duty as well. They ensured the fertility of the land, the health of the Nile, and protection from enemies. Their godlike status made the pharaoh the ultimate symbol of authority, blending religion, politics, and culture, and shaping the entire structure of Egyptian civilization for millennia. 5. Mummification preserved bodies for the afterlife and religious rituals. Mummification was a cornerstone of ancient Egyptian religious practice, aimed at preserving the body for the afterlife. Egyptians believed that the soul needed an intact body to survive in the next world, so elaborate embalming techniques were developed. The process typically involved removing internal organs, treating the body with natron salts to dehydrate it, and wrapping it in linen bandages. Amulets, charms, and magical spells were included within the wrappings to protect the deceased on their journey. The practice was expensive and often reserved for pharaohs, nobility, and wealthy individuals, although simpler versions were available for common people. Tombs were furnished with food, treasures, and items for daily use, ensuring comfort in the afterlife. Mummification demonstrates the Egyptians' advanced knowledge of anatomy, preservation, and chemistry. Beyond its practical purpose, it was deeply symbolic, reflecting the culture's beliefs about immortality, divine favor, and cosmic order. Today, mummies provide invaluable insights into ancient Egyptian life, health, social structure, and religious devotion, showing how spiritual beliefs shaped one of history's most fascinating civilizations. 6. Sphinx is a massive limestone statue with a lion's body and human head. The Great Sphinx of Giza is one of the most iconic monuments of ancient Egypt, featuring a lion's body and a human head believed to represent Pharaoh Khafra. Carved from a single limestone ridge, it stretches over 240 feet long and stands about 66 feet high, making it one of the largest and oldest statues in the world. The Sphinx is thought to symbolize strength and wisdom, combining the power of a lion with the intelligence of a human ruler. Over the centuries, it has suffered erosion and damage, yet restoration efforts have preserved much of its original grandeur. Positioned near the pyramids on the Giza Plateau, it guards the necropolis, playing a significant religious and ceremonial role. Ancient Egyptians likely associated the Sphinx with solar worship, linking it to the sun god Ra. The monument continues to fascinate historians, archaeologists, and tourists alike, representing both the artistic skill and spiritual depth of ancient Egyptian civilization, while inspiring countless legends and myths throughout history. 7. Papyrus was used as one of the first forms of paper. Papyrus was an essential innovation in ancient Egypt, serving as one of the earliest forms of paper. Made from the stalks of the papyrus plant that grew abundantly along the Nile River, it was cut, pressed and dried to form thin, flexible sheets suitable for writing. Egyptians used papyrus for religious texts, administrative documents, literature, and personal correspondence. Its durability allowed important records, including hieroglyphics and drawings, to survive for thousands of years. Papyrus sheets were often joined together to form scrolls, making it easier to store lengthy texts. Scribes, who were highly trained and respected professionals, played a crucial role in recording history, religious practices, and government decisions on papyrus. The material was also traded with neighboring civilizations, spreading literacy and knowledge. Papyrus represents the ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians in developing tools that supported communication, record-keeping, and cultural preservation. Today, surviving papyrus scrolls provide invaluable insights into the daily life, beliefs, and governance of one of history's most remarkable civilizations, demonstrating how a simple plant became a cornerstone of knowledge and history. 8. Egyptian medicine included surgeries, herbal remedies, and early anatomy studies. Ancient Egyptian medicine was remarkably advanced, combining practical treatments with spiritual beliefs. Physicians performed surgeries, treated wounds, and applied splints for broken bones, often using herbs and natural remedies for pain relief and infection prevention. They studied anatomy through careful observation and mummification practices, which allowed them to understand internal organs and body structure. Medical papyri, such as the Edwin Smith papyrus, describe detailed surgical techniques, treatments for injuries, and observations about human physiology. Ancient Egyptians believed that health depended on harmony between the body, spirit, and environment, so treatments often combined practical remedies with prayers and rituals. Doctors specialized in different areas, including dentistry, gynecology, and ophthalmology, providing targeted care for patients. Knowledge of medicinal plants, minerals, and animal products allowed them to treat a wide variety of illnesses. Their practices influenced later Greek and Roman medicine, showing that ancient Egyptian medical knowledge was both sophisticated and enduring. Overall, their approach reflects a remarkable blend of science, observation, and spirituality, highlighting the ingenuity and holistic understanding of one of history's earliest civilizations. 9. Pyramids were precisely aligned with stars for religious and astronomical purposes. The ancient Egyptians were skilled astronomers, and many pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza, were aligned with remarkable precision to celestial bodies. The sides of the pyramids closely matched the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, demonstrating an advanced understanding of astronomy. Certain pyramids were oriented to specific stars or constellations, such as Orion's belt, which was associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. This alignment reflects the Egyptians' belief that the pharaoh's soul needed to join the stars after death. Builders likely used careful observations, sighting tools, and geometry to achieve precise positioning. Aligning structures with the stars also had religious significance, reinforcing the connection between the heavens and the divine on earth. These astronomical practices influenced temple designs, tombs, and rituals, showing that religion, science, and architecture were deeply intertwined in ancient Egypt. The precision of these alignments continues to amaze modern scientists and archaeologists, offering evidence of the Egyptians' sophisticated knowledge of the sky and their ability to integrate it into monumental constructions that have endured for millennia. 10. Rosetta Stone helped modern scholars decode hieroglyphics. The Rosetta Stone, discovered in 1799 near the town of Rosetta in Egypt, was the key to unlocking the secrets of Egyptian hieroglyphics. This black granite slab contains the same text written in 3 scripts: Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphic. Because scholars could read ancient Greek, they were able to use it as a reference to interpret the hieroglyphs, which had been indecipherable for centuries. The text is a decree issued during the reign of Pharaoh Ptolemy V, praising his accomplishments and religious devotion. French scholar Jean-François Champollion made the breakthrough in 1822, establishing a systematic understanding of hieroglyphics and opening the door to modern Egyptology. The Rosetta Stone not only allowed historians to read countless inscriptions on temples, tombs, and monuments, but also offered deep insights into Egyptian culture, administration, and religion. Today, it is housed in the British Museum, serving as a symbol of linguistic discovery and the enduring fascination with ancient Egypt's written language, demonstrating the power of comparative analysis in uncovering human history. 11. Roman roads spanned over 250,000 miles connecting the empire. Roman roads were among the most remarkable engineering achievements of the ancient world, stretching over 250,000 miles across the empire at its peak. These roads connected Rome to distant provinces, enabling efficient military movement, trade, and communication. Constructed with multiple layers of stone, sand, and gravel, the roads were designed to last for centuries and to withstand heavy use. Milestones were placed along the routes to guide travelers and indicate distances, while bridges and tunnels helped overcome natural obstacles. Roman engineers used precise surveying techniques to create straight paths whenever possible, and drainage systems prevented water damage. Roads facilitated the movement of legions, allowing Rome to maintain control over its vast territories. They also encouraged economic growth, as merchants could transport goods such as grain, wine, and olive oil efficiently. Many modern European roads still follow the paths laid out by Roman engineers, reflecting their lasting influence. These roads were not just infrastructure, they were symbols of Rome's power, organization, and ability to unite a diverse empire under a common system of transportation and governance. 12. Colosseum hosted gladiator games and public spectacles. The Colosseum, also known as the Flavian Amphitheatre, is one of the most iconic symbols of ancient Rome. Built between 70 to 80 CE, it could hold up to 50,000 spectators who came to watch gladiator games, animal hunts, and public spectacles. The arena featured an intricate system of underground tunnels and chambers called the Hypogeum, where animals, performers, and stage equipment were kept before entering the arena. The Colosseum was an engineering marvel, with a complex system of arches, elevators, and trapdoors allowing for dramatic and efficient scene changes. Gladiators, often slaves or prisoners of war, fought for fame, fortune, or survival, while emperors used the games to display their power and entertain the public. The amphitheater also hosted mock naval battles and theatrical performances, showcasing Roman ingenuity and love for spectacle. Over time, the Colosseum suffered damage from earthquakes and stone removal, but it remains a testament to Roman architecture, culture, and society. Today, it attracts millions of visitors and continues to inspire awe, representing the grandeur, ambition, and sometimes brutal nature of ancient Rome. 13. Roman concrete allowed buildings and aqueducts to last for millennia. Roman concrete, or opus caementitium, was one of the most significant technological innovations of the ancient world. Unlike modern concrete, Roman concrete included volcanic ash, lime, and water, creating a material that could set underwater and resist cracking over time. This durable substance allowed Romans to construct monumental buildings, bridges, and aqueducts that still stand today. Structures like the Pantheon, with its massive unreinforced dome, and the Colosseum demonstrate the remarkable strength and longevity of Roman concrete. Its composition enabled architects to experiment with arches, vaults, and domes, revolutionizing building techniques and urban design. The use of concrete also reduced construction costs and increased the speed of building projects across the empire. Roman concrete's durability has puzzled modern scientists, who study its composition to understand why it has survived centuries of weathering and earthquakes. This innovation not only shaped the physical landscape of Rome, but also influenced construction practices for generations, showing the Romans' mastery of materials, engineering, and architectural creativity. It remains a symbol of their ingenuity and practical problem-solving. 14. Aqueducts transported fresh water to cities and towns efficiently. Roman aqueducts were an engineering marvel, designed to transport fresh water from distant sources into cities and towns throughout the empire. These structures use gravity to maintain a gentle, continuous flow, sometimes spanning dozens of miles across varied terrain. Aqueducts included bridges, tunnels, and channels to navigate valleys, hills, and rivers, demonstrating Roman ingenuity and precise surveying skills. The water supplied public baths, fountains, private homes, and even agricultural fields, supporting urban growth and public health. Some aqueducts, like Aqua Appia and Pont du Gard, still stand today, showcasing the durability of Roman construction techniques. Maintenance was essential, and crews regularly cleaned and repaired the channels to ensure uninterrupted water supply. Access to clean water transformed daily life, enabling hygiene, public gatherings, and civic rituals. Aqueducts symbolize the Roman commitment to urban planning and social infrastructure, reflecting their understanding of engineering, architecture, and governance. By ensuring water reached millions of people, the aqueducts not only improved living standards but also strengthened the cohesion and prosperity of the Roman Empire. 15. Roman law influenced many modern legal systems around the world. Roman law was one of the most enduring legacies of the Roman Empire, forming the foundation for many modern legal systems worldwide. It was developed over centuries, starting with the 12 Tables, which codified basic rights and duties of Roman citizens. Roman law covered areas such as property, contracts, family, inheritance, and criminal justice, creating a comprehensive legal framework. Jurists studied and interpreted laws, issuing commentaries that guided courts and officials. The principles of Roman law, including equality before the law, legal precedent, and the concept of contracts, influenced European civil law and continue to impact contemporary legal systems. During the Middle Ages, Roman law was rediscovered and integrated into university education, spreading its influence across Europe. Concepts like due process, legal representation, and codified rights reflect Roman legal thinking and have shaped modern governance and justice. Roman law not only provided order in ancient society, but also created a lasting intellectual framework, demonstrating how the legal innovations of one civilization can influence human society for millennia. 16. Roman Republic introduced elected officials and a Senate system. The Roman Republic, established around 509 BCE, marked a significant shift in governance, replacing monarchy with a system of elected officials and a Senate. Citizens, particularly freeborn males, could vote for magistrates such as consuls and praetors, who held executive and judicial authority. The Senate, composed of aristocratic patricians, advised the magistrates and controlled finances, foreign policy, and legislation. This system balanced power, preventing any single individual from gaining absolute control, although political conflicts and class struggles often challenged stability. The Republic introduced checks and accountability through term limits, vetoes, and shared authority. Assemblies of citizens could influence laws and elect officials, fostering civic engagement. This political structure influenced governance far beyond Rome, inspiring ideas about representative government, separation of powers, and civic duty that persist in modern democracies. The Roman Republic lasted nearly 5 centuries, producing leaders, philosophers, and military strategies that shaped Western civilization. Its combination of citizen participation, institutional checks, and structured authority demonstrated a sophisticated approach to governance, laying a foundation for the later empire while leaving a lasting legacy in political thought. 17. Latin language formed the basis for many modern languages. Latin was the language of ancient Rome and the foundation for the Romance languages spoken today, including Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Romanian. It began as a local dialect in the region of Latium but spread throughout the Roman Empire as Rome expanded. Latin served as the language of government, law, literature, science, and religion, ensuring communication across vast and diverse territories. Classical Latin, used in formal writing and speeches, coexisted with vulgar Latin, the everyday spoken form of common people. The structure, vocabulary, and grammar of Latin influenced the development of modern European languages, and its words remain embedded in legal, medical, and scientific terminology. Latin also played a key role in preserving knowledge through manuscripts, literature, and religious texts, including early Christian writings and the Bible. Scholars and educators continued to study Latin throughout the Middle Ages and Renaissance, maintaining it as the lingua franca of learning. Today, Latin is considered a cornerstone of Western linguistic and intellectual history, demonstrating the enduring influence of the Roman Empire on culture, language, and communication. 18. Public baths were centers for socializing and hygiene. Public baths, or thermae, were central to Roman daily life, serving both hygienic and social purposes. Romans visited baths to bathe, exercise, relax, and socialize, creating a communal atmosphere where citizens from different classes could meet and interact. Bath complexes often included heated rooms, cold pools, steam rooms, gyms, libraries, and gardens, reflecting the Roman sophisticated approach to leisure and wellness. Baths were meticulously designed with advanced heating systems, called hypercausts, which circulated warm air beneath floors and through walls. Visiting the baths was an essential part of Roman culture, providing opportunities for networking, discussion of politics, business, and philosophy, as well as relaxation after labor or military service. These establishments were sometimes free or subsidized by wealthy patrons and emperors, emphasizing their social and civic importance. Beyond cleanliness, public baths symbolized Roman engineering, architecture, and community values, demonstrating how infrastructure could combine practical needs with cultural and social cohesion. Today, the remains of these structures continue to highlight the ingenuity and lifestyle of ancient Rome. 19. Roman army was highly disciplined and technologically advanced. The Roman army was a cornerstone of the empire's expansion and security, known for its discipline, organization, and innovative strategies. Soldiers, or legionaries, underwent rigorous training in combat, formation drills, and endurance, creating one of the most effective military forces in history. The army was divided into legions, each with its own hierarchy, specialized units, and logistical support. Roman engineering skills were applied to building fortifications, roads, bridges, and siege engines, allowing armies to move efficiently and maintain supply lines across vast territories. The use of standardized weapons, armor, and tactics contributed to their effectiveness in battle. Discipline and loyalty were strictly enforced, and soldiers often lived in fortified camps, ready for campaigns. The Roman army also played a role in civil governance and construction, integrating conquered regions into the empire. Its combination of training, organization, and technological innovation enabled Rome to dominate Europe, the Mediterranean, and parts of the Middle East for centuries, leaving a legacy of military excellence and strategy still studied today. 20. Fall of Rome in 476 CE marked the end of the Western Roman Empire. The fall of Rome in 476 CE is widely recognized as the end of the Western Roman Empire, a pivotal moment in history that marked the transition from antiquity to the medieval era. Internal factors, such as political instability, economic decline, corruption, and over-reliance on mercenary forces, weakened the empire from within. External pressures, including invasions by Germanic tribes like the Visigoths and Vandals, accelerated its collapse. Emperor Romulus Augustulus was deposed, and power shifted to regional rulers and successor kingdoms. Despite the fall of the western half, the Eastern Roman Empire, known as Byzantium, continued to thrive for another 1,000 years. The collapse of Rome led to the fragmentation of Europe, influencing political, cultural, and economic structures for centuries. Its legal, architectural, and cultural achievements, however, persisted, shaping medieval kingdoms and future civilizations. The fall of Rome symbolizes the vulnerability of even the greatest empires and serves as a reminder of the complexities of governance, military power, and societal resilience in human history. 21. Greek city-states included Athens, Sparta, and Corinth. Ancient Greece was divided into independent city-states, known as polis, each with its own government, culture, and military. Athens, Sparta, and Corinth were among the most influential. Athens was renowned for its art, philosophy, and early democratic practices, fostering thinkers and artists who shaped Western civilization. Sparta was famous for its militaristic society, rigorous training, and disciplined warriors, emphasizing loyalty, strength, and endurance. Corinth served as a vital trading hub, connecting the Greek world with other civilizations through its strategic location and bustling ports. Each city-state maintained its own laws, customs, and religious practices, leading to a strong sense of local identity and competition. Despite frequent conflicts, these city-states shared language, religion, and cultural traditions, including festivals, athletic competitions, and shared myths. Their political and social diversity contributed to innovation in governance, philosophy, and military strategy. Greek city-states laid the foundation for Western political thought, education, and civic life, demonstrating how independent communities could thrive while influencing an entire region's cultural and intellectual development. 22. Democracy began in Athens around 508 BCE. Around 508 BCE, Athens established one of the first known systems of democracy, allowing citizens to participate directly in decision-making. Political power was vested in the assembly, where male citizens could vote on laws, policies, and leadership. Elected officials, including magistrates and generals, executed the assembly's decisions, while a council managed daily administration. This system emphasized accountability, debate, and civic engagement, distinguishing Athens from monarchies and oligarchies elsewhere. Citizens were expected to take active roles in public life, including attending meetings, serving in the military, and participating in legal proceedings. While women, slaves, and non-citizens were excluded, Athenian democracy represented a revolutionary approach to governance, promoting equality among eligible citizens and limiting the power of elites. The principles of debate, voting, and civic responsibility from Athens influenced political thought for centuries. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle studied and critiqued these systems, contributing to the development of political theory. Athenian democracy remains a cornerstone in understanding the evolution of participatory governance, civic duty, and the idea that citizens should have a voice in shaping their society. 23. Olympics started in 776 BCE as a religious and athletic festival. The ancient Olympic Games began in 776 BCE in Olympia, Greece, as a religious festival honoring Zeus, the king of the Greek gods. Athletes from various city-states competed in running, wrestling, chariot racing, javelin, discus, and other events. Victories brought prestige, honor, and symbolic rewards, such as olive wreaths, to competitors and their home cities. The Games fostered unity among the often warring Greek city-states, as a truce was declared during competitions to allow safe travel for participants and spectators. Religious rituals, including sacrifices and prayers at temples, accompanied the athletic events, highlighting the spiritual significance of the Games. The Olympics became a central part of Greek culture, inspiring art, literature, and civic pride. Though participation was initially limited to free Greek men, the festival celebrated excellence, competition, and physical achievement as essential components of human life. The tradition of the Olympic Games endured for centuries, influencing modern international sports competitions and symbolizing the enduring connection between physical skill, cultural identity, and spiritual devotion. 24. Plato and Aristotle shaped Western philosophy and thought. Plato and Aristotle were two of the most influential philosophers in ancient Greece, laying the foundations of Western thought. Plato, a student of Socrates, explored ideas about justice, ethics, politics, and the nature of reality, emphasizing the importance of reason, truth, and the concept of ideal forms. His dialogues, including the Republic, examined the ideal society and the role of knowledge and virtue in human life. Aristotle, Plato's student, focused on logic, observation, and empirical study, covering topics ranging from biology and physics to ethics and politics. His systematic approach to knowledge influenced science, philosophy, and education for centuries. Both philosophers taught and wrote extensively, founding schools that nurtured generations of thinkers. Their ideas shaped concepts of morality, governance, education, and the pursuit of knowledge. Through their writings and teachings, Plato and Aristotle continue to guide modern philosophy, science, and intellectual inquiry, demonstrating the enduring power of ancient Greek thought to influence human understanding and societal development. 25. Parthenon was built to honor the goddess Athena. The Parthenon, located on the Acropolis of Athens, is a magnificent temple built between 447 and 432 BCE to honor Athena, the city's patron goddess of wisdom, war, and crafts. Commissioned by Pericles during Athens' Golden Age, it showcased the architectural skill and artistic sophistication of the period. Constructed entirely of marble, the Parthenon features Doric columns, intricate friezes, and detailed sculptures depicting mythological scenes and Athenian achievements. The temple served as a religious center, housing a massive statue of Athena and hosting rituals, offerings, and festivals. Its design reflected the Greeks' devotion to balance, proportion, and harmony, principles central to classical architecture. Over time, the Parthenon also functioned as a treasury, church, and mosque, demonstrating its lasting cultural importance. Despite damage from wars, earthquakes, and looting, it remains a symbol of Athens' political power, artistic excellence, and religious devotion. Today, the Parthenon continues to inspire architects, historians, and visitors worldwide, representing the enduring legacy of ancient Greek civilization and its contributions to art, religion, and culture. 26. Greek theatre developed both tragedy and comedy genres. Greek theatre emerged in the 5th century BCE as a vital part of religious and cultural life, celebrating festivals in honor of Dionysus, the god of wine and fertility. It produced two major genres: tragedy, which explored profound human suffering, morality, and fate, and comedy, which satirized politics, society, and everyday life. Playwrights such as Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes created works that examined ethical dilemmas, civic responsibilities, and the human condition, shaping storytelling for centuries. Performances were held in open-air amphitheaters with impressive acoustics, where large audiences gathered to watch masked actors convey emotion, dialogue, and dramatic tension. Theatre served both entertainment and education, encouraging reflection on personal and social issues. The structure of Greek plays, with prologues, choruses, and dialogues, influenced Roman drama and continues to inform modern theatre, literature, and film. Greek theatre remains a cornerstone of Western cultural history, demonstrating the power of performance to explore complex ideas, entertain, and foster communal engagement in society. 27. Pythagoras and Euclid made significant contributions to mathematics. Pythagoras and Euclid were pivotal figures in the development of mathematics in ancient Greece. Pythagoras, living around the 6th century BCE, is best known for the Pythagorean theorem, relating the sides of right-angled triangles, but his contributions extended to numerical theory, music, and philosophy. Euclid, active in the 4th century BCE, compiled Elements, a comprehensive treatise on geometry that systematically presented definitions, axioms, and proofs, forming the basis for modern geometry. Their work emphasized logic, deduction, and rigorous reasoning, inspiring mathematicians for centuries. Greek mathematicians explored concepts such as proportions, ratios, and prime numbers, applying mathematics to astronomy, architecture, and engineering. Schools like Pythagorean communities promoted learning through study and discussion, integrating mathematics with philosophy and cosmology. The ideas and methods of Pythagoras and Euclid profoundly influenced Islamic, European, and global mathematical traditions. Their contributions demonstrate how ancient Greek thinkers combined abstract thought with practical applications, laying the foundation for centuries of scientific, architectural, and technological advancements. 28. Greek mythology explained natural events through gods and heroes. Greek mythology was a rich collection of stories used to explain the world, natural events, and human behavior through gods, goddesses, and heroes. Mythical figures such as Zeus, Athena, Poseidon, and Apollo were believed to control aspects of nature, from storms and earthquakes to harvests and sunlight. Myths explored themes of love, revenge, justice, and fate, often illustrating moral lessons and cultural values. Legendary heroes like Hercules, Perseus, and Odysseus faced trials and quests, demonstrating courage, intelligence, and resilience. Myths were transmitted orally and later recorded in poetry, drama, and art, influencing Greek culture, religion, and festivals. Temples, rituals, and public ceremonies often celebrated these divine narratives, reinforcing communal beliefs and social cohesion. Greek mythology also inspired architecture, sculpture, and literature, connecting storytelling to civic identity. Even today, these myths continue to captivate imaginations, offering insights into ancient Greeks' worldview, their understanding of nature, human experience, and the interplay between mortals and the divine. 29. Alexander the Great created one of the largest empires in history. Alexander the Great, born in 356 BCE in Macedonia, became one of history's most famous military leaders, creating an empire that stretched from Greece to Egypt and as far east as India. Tutored by Aristotle, Alexander combined military genius with strategic diplomacy, uniting diverse regions under his rule. His conquests spread Greek culture, language, and political ideas across 3 continents, initiating the Hellenistic era. Cities like Alexandria in Egypt became centers of learning, trade, and cultural exchange, blending Greek and local traditions. Alexander's army was highly disciplined, employing innovative tactics, siege techniques, and coordinated strategies that allowed him to defeat larger forces. His vision of a connected world encouraged the exchange of science, philosophy, and art across conquered territories. Although he died at the young age of 32, his legacy reshaped the ancient world, influencing successor kingdoms, trade networks, and the spread of Hellenistic culture. Alexander remains a symbol of ambition, leadership, and the transformative power of vision and military skill. 30. Greek alphabet influenced many modern writing systems. The Greek alphabet, developed around the 8th century BCE, was a major advancement in writing systems, providing a structured and versatile method of recording language. It evolved from the Phoenician script but introduced vowels, making it more accurate for representing spoken language. The Greek alphabet enabled literature, philosophy, scientific records, and historical accounts to be written clearly and preserved for future generations. Classical works by Homer, Plato, and Aristotle were recorded in Greek, allowing knowledge to spread throughout the Mediterranean and beyond. The alphabet influenced the development of the Latin alphabet, which became the basis for most modern European languages, including English, French, Spanish, and Italian. Its adaptation and dissemination contributed to literacy, education, and the transmission of cultural, political, and scientific ideas. The Greek alphabet illustrates how a writing system can shape intellectual history and human communication, ensuring that language, knowledge, and culture endure across millennia. 31. Sumerians created one of the first writing systems, cuneiform. The Sumerians of ancient Mesopotamia around 3400 BCE, developed cuneiform, one of the world's earliest writing systems. It consisted of wedge-shaped marks pressed into clay tablets using a reed stylus. Initially, cuneiform was used for record-keeping, such as tracking goods, trade, and harvests. But over time it evolved to include literature, legal documents, and historical records. Scribes, who trained for years, held prestigious positions in society, ensuring accurate documentation. Cuneiform enabled communication across the Sumerian city-states, preserving knowledge and culture for future generations. Epic tales, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, were written in cuneiform, providing insights into mythology, philosophy, and social norms. This system influenced later writing methods in Mesopotamia and laid the foundation for human civilization's ability to record complex ideas. By creating a durable, standardized form of writing, the Sumerians transformed how societies transmitted knowledge, organized governance, and documented history, marking a critical turning point in human cultural and intellectual development. 32. Ziggurats were massive temple towers built in Mesopotamia. Ziggurats were monumental structures constructed by ancient Mesopotamian civilizations, including the Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians. These massive step towers served as temples and religious centers, believed to connect heaven and earth. Made of mud bricks and often topped with a shrine to the patron deity, ziggurats symbolized divine authority and city-state prestige. The most famous example is the ziggurat of Ur, dedicated to the moon god Nana, which could rise multiple stories high. Ziggurats were carefully engineered with ramps and terraces, allowing priests to perform rituals and ceremonies at elevated levels. Their construction required advanced knowledge of architecture, materials, and labor organization, reflecting the sophistication of Mesopotamian society. Beyond religious purposes, ziggurats represented civic pride and centralization of power, often located at the heart of major cities. These structures influenced later architectural styles and demonstrated how religion, governance, and urban planning were intertwined, leaving a lasting legacy in the cultural and spiritual history of the ancient world. 33. Hammurabi created one of the earliest legal codes in history. King Hammurabi of Babylon, around 1754 BCE, established one of the earliest known codified legal systems, known as the Code of Hammurabi. Carved onto a large stone stele, it contained 282 laws covering topics like trade, property, family, labor, and crime. The code followed the principle of an eye for an eye, emphasizing justice and retribution. It distinguished between social classes, with penalties varying depending on status, but provided a standardized legal framework that reduced arbitrary punishment. The Code of Hammurabi also emphasized accountability, requiring officials to uphold the law and ensuring that citizens knew their rights and responsibilities. This legal system influenced subsequent Mesopotamian societies and shaped concepts of governance, fairness, and order in the ancient world. By codifying laws, Hammurabi created a durable model for societal regulation, demonstrating how structured legal systems could provide stability, fairness, and predictability in human communities, setting a precedent that resonates in modern jurisprudence. 34. Mesopotamian cities had walls for protection against invasions. Mesopotamian cities were often fortified with massive walls to defend against invasions and raids. Built from mud bricks, these walls could reach impressive heights and were reinforced with towers and gates for both protection and controlled access. Cities such as Ur, Babylon, and Nineveh relied on these fortifications to safeguard residents, resources, and administrative centers. The walls served not only as defensive structures but also as symbols of political power and urban organization. During times of peace, they demarcated the city's boundaries and helped regulate trade and entry. Moats and watchtowers enhanced security, while soldiers patrolled the walls to respond to threats quickly. These defensive measures were crucial in a region marked by frequent conflict between city-states and nomadic groups. Mesopotamian city walls illustrate how early civilizations combined engineering, strategic planning, and governance to protect inhabitants and maintain order, reflecting the constant interplay between security, politics, and urban development in human history. 35. Irrigation systems allowed agriculture to thrive in arid lands. In ancient Mesopotamia, irrigation was essential for transforming arid lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers into productive farmland. Farmers built canals, dikes, and reservoirs to control and distribute water to crops such as barley, wheat, and vegetables. These systems ensured consistent harvests despite seasonal fluctuations or droughts, supporting population growth and urbanization. The development of irrigation required collective effort, organization, and knowledge of hydraulics, making it a key factor in the rise of cities and complex societies. Irrigation also enabled surplus production, allowing trade, specialization, and the emergence of social hierarchies. Maintaining these systems required cooperation among communities, fostering governance structures and administrative skills. By mastering water management, Mesopotamians created a stable food supply that supported cultural, economic, and technological advancements. Irrigation illustrates how environmental challenges spurred innovation, shaping the foundation for early civilization and demonstrating the critical relationship between human ingenuity and natural resources. 36. The wheel was invented in Mesopotamia around 3500 BCE. The invention of the wheel in Mesopotamia around 3500 BCE revolutionized transportation, trade, and technology. Initially used for pottery and later adapted for carts and chariots, the wheel allowed people to move goods and resources efficiently over long distances. This innovation contributed to the growth of cities, enabling farmers, merchants, and armies to transport heavy loads with greater ease. The wheel's design required precision engineering, including the development of axles and circular forms that could rotate smoothly. Its introduction influenced other technological advancements, from water wheels for irrigation to complex machinery in later civilizations. By facilitating movement, the wheel helped expand trade networks, strengthen economic systems, and enhance communication between regions. It is considered one of humanity's most transformative inventions, laying the groundwork for future transportation and mechanical innovation. The wheel demonstrates how a simple concept can profoundly impact society, shaping human progress and enabling the development of complex civilizations throughout history. 37. Mesopotamians practiced astrology and developed early astronomy. Ancient Mesopotamians were among the first to observe celestial bodies and develop systems of astrology and astronomy. They meticulously recorded the movements of the sun, moon, planets, and stars, often linking them to religious and agricultural cycles. Priests and scholars interpreted celestial patterns to predict events, guide farming, and advise rulers on political decisions. They created lunar calendars and identified constellations, forming the basis for later astronomical knowledge in Greece and Rome. Astrology was intertwined with religion, as gods were believed to control celestial phenomena, influencing human affairs. Mesopotamian observations led to accurate calculations of lunar months, eclipses, and seasonal changes, reflecting advanced mathematical and scientific skills. These practices influenced timekeeping, navigation, and ritual planning, showing the civilization's sophisticated understanding of the natural world. By combining observation, calculation, and spiritual interpretation, Mesopotamians laid a foundation for both science and mysticism, demonstrating how early societies sought to understand and harmonize with the cosmos. 38. Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the oldest known stories in history. The Epic of Gilgamesh, written in cuneiform on clay tablets around 2100 BCE, is one of the oldest known literary works in human history. It tells the story of Gilgamesh, the king of Uruk, and his journey through friendship, loss, and the search for immortality. The epic explores themes such as human mortality, the meaning of life, and the importance of community and leadership. It features encounters with gods, monsters, and mythical beings, reflecting Mesopotamian beliefs, values, and culture. The narrative combines adventure, morality, and philosophical reflection, providing insights into social structures, religion, and daily life in ancient Mesopotamia. The story influenced later literary traditions, including Greek and biblical texts, and continues to be studied for its historical and literary significance. By preserving human experiences, emotions, and ethical questions, the Epic of Gilgamesh demonstrates the power of storytelling as a means of cultural transmission and the enduring legacy of early civilizations' intellectual achievements. 39. Trade along rivers like Tigris and Euphrates was essential for growth. Rivers such as the Tigris and Euphrates were vital lifelines for Mesopotamian civilizations, enabling trade, communication, and agriculture. Boats and rafts carried goods like grain, pottery, textiles, and metals between cities, connecting communities and fostering economic growth. These waterways allowed merchants to establish extensive trade networks with neighboring regions, exchanging ideas, technology, and cultural practices. Cities along rivers flourished as commercial hubs, attracting artisans, traders, and administrators. The availability of water also supported irrigation systems, increasing crop yields and creating surplus goods for trade. Seasonal flooding deposited fertile soil, enhancing agricultural productivity and sustaining growing populations. Trade along rivers contributed to social stratification, urban planning, and the development of markets, taxation, and governance. Mesopotamia's reliance on rivers illustrates how natural geography shaped economic, political, and cultural development, highlighting the interdependence of environment, technology, and human society in building early civilizations that could thrive and influence the broader region. 40. Sumerians developed mathematics based on the number 60. The Sumerians created an advanced mathematical system based on the number 60, known as a sexagesimal system, around 3000 BCE. This numerical framework allowed them to perform complex calculations, divide circles into 360 degrees, and create accurate astronomical observations. The system also influenced time measurement, giving rise to 60-second minutes and 60-minute hours, which remain in use today. Sumerian mathematics was applied in commerce, land measurement, construction, and astronomy, supporting the administration and organization of cities. Clay tablets reveal calculations for trade, architecture, and taxation, demonstrating precision and practical application. This sexagesimal system laid the foundation for later Mesopotamian, Babylonian, and Greek mathematical advancements, influencing geometry, algebra, and astronomy. By combining abstract thinking with real-world applications, the Sumerians created a durable, influential system that shaped the intellectual and technological development of subsequent civilizations. Their mathematical innovations highlight how early societies used numbers to understand the world, organize society, and achieve scientific progress. 41. Great Wall of China was built to protect against northern invasions. The Great Wall of China, constructed over several dynasties, was a massive fortification built to defend against invasions from northern nomadic tribes such as the Xiongnu and Mongols. The wall stretches thousands of miles across mountains, deserts, and plains, showcasing remarkable engineering and strategic planning. Construction began as early as the 7th century BCE and continued through the Qin, Han, and Ming dynasties. Workers used stone, brick, tamped earth, and wood, often facing harsh conditions, long hours, and difficult terrain. Watchtowers, signal fires, and garrison stations were integrated to improve communication and military readiness. Beyond defense, the wall symbolized imperial power, territorial control, and national identity. It also influenced trade, as certain sections protected roads and facilitated regulated movement. While no single continuous wall existed in its early stages, The combined fortifications became an enduring icon of China. Today, the Great Wall represents Chinese ingenuity, perseverance, and cultural heritage, reflecting how human societies have historically used monumental architecture to ensure security and assert dominance over vast regions. 42. Chinese invented paper around 105 CE. Paper was invented in China around 105 CE by Cai Lun, a court official, revolutionizing communication, record-keeping, and culture. Before paper, writing was done on bamboo, silk, or wooden tablets, which were heavy, expensive, and cumbersome. Paper provided a lightweight, versatile, and relatively inexpensive medium for writing, art, and printing. It spread rapidly throughout China, facilitating education, administration, and literature. Scholars could compile texts more easily, enabling the preservation of historical records, philosophical works, and religious scriptures. The invention of paper also supported the development of printing technology centuries later, significantly influencing global communication and knowledge dissemination. Chinese paper-making techniques eventually traveled along the Silk Road, reaching the Islamic world and Europe, profoundly impacting science, literature, and education. Paper transformed societies by making information accessible, durable, and portable. This invention illustrates how a practical innovation can reshape culture, governance, and human progress, establishing China as a pioneer in technological and intellectual achievements. 43. Silk production began in China over 5,000 years ago. Silk production, or sericulture, originated in China more than 5,000 years ago and became a highly prized industry, fueling trade and cultural exchange. The Chinese discovered that silkworms, when cultivated and carefully fed mulberry leaves, produced fibers that could be spun into delicate, strong fabric. Silk quickly became a symbol of wealth, status, and refinement, used for clothing, ceremonial garments, and gifts. The production process was labor-intensive, involving careful harvesting, boiling, and weaving, and remained a closely guarded secret for centuries. Silk trade extended across Asia and eventually reached Europe through the Silk Road, linking diverse civilizations through commerce, culture, and diplomacy. This luxurious fabric influenced fashion, economy, and technology, contributing to China's wealth and international influence. Silk's importance extended beyond clothing, inspiring art, mythology, and cultural identity. The development of silk production demonstrates China's innovative spirit, mastery of natural resources, and ability to create products that transform social, economic, and cultural life for millennia. 44. Confucius taught ethics, family loyalty, and social harmony. Confucius, a Chinese philosopher who lived from 551 to 479 BCE, emphasized moral values, family loyalty, and social harmony as essential principles for personal and societal well-being. His teachings, compiled in the Analects, encouraged respect for elders, adherence to ritual, honesty, and the cultivation of virtue. Confucius believed that ethical conduct, rather than force, would create a stable and prosperous society, with rulers leading by example and citizens fulfilling their duties responsibly. Education, self-discipline, and reflection were central to his philosophy, promoting both individual growth and collective order. Confucian ideas influenced governance, law, and social structures in China for centuries, shaping cultural norms, educational systems, and family hierarchies. His emphasis on harmony, moral responsibility, and societal roles continues to inform Chinese culture and philosophy today. By advocating ethical behavior and respect within communities, Confucius provided a framework for ethical living that transcended his era, demonstrating how philosophy can profoundly influence civilization and human interactions over millennia. 45. Terracotta Army was built to protect Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the afterlife. The Terracotta Army, discovered near Lebanon, China, was constructed around 210 BCE to accompany Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the afterlife. Thousands of life-sized clay soldiers, horses, and chariots were meticulously crafted and arranged in battle formations, reflecting the emperor's power and military organization. Each figure was uniquely detailed, with distinct facial features, hairstyles, and armor, demonstrating extraordinary craftsmanship and artistic sophistication. The army was buried in underground pits near the emperor's tomb to serve as eternal guardians, ensuring his protection and authority beyond death. Workers used advanced techniques, such as assembly line construction and kill firing, to produce thousands of figures efficiently. The terracotta army provides insight into Qin dynasty military practices, social hierarchy, and religious beliefs regarding the afterlife. Its discovery in the 20th century revealed the scale, ambition, and technological skill of ancient China. Today, the Terracotta Army is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most remarkable archaeological finds in history, symbolizing the fusion of art, power, and spiritual belief in early Chinese civilization. 46. Ancient Chinese invented gunpowder around the 9th century. Gunpowder, invented in China around the 9th century CE, was a groundbreaking chemical mixture of sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. Initially discovered by alchemists searching for immortality, it quickly found applications in warfare, fireworks, and signaling. Gunpowder transformed military technology, leading to the development of bombs, rockets, cannons, and firearms, which eventually spread to the Middle East and Europe, altering the course of history. Beyond its martial uses, gunpowder played a role in ceremonial displays, festivals, and celebrations, emphasizing both practical and cultural significance. The Chinese mastery of gunpowder technology required experimentation, understanding of chemical reactions, and controlled handling to avoid accidents. Its invention showcases Chinese innovation, scientific observation, and adaptability. Gunpowder not only enhanced defense and offense strategies in ancient China, but also became a crucial tool in global technological progress, demonstrating how a single discovery can reshape societies, warfare, and cultural practices for centuries. 47. Compass was developed to aid navigation and trade. The compass, developed in China around the 11th century CE, revolutionized navigation and trade by allowing sailors to determine direction even without visible landmarks or celestial cues. Early compasses used lodestones, naturally magnetized minerals, to indicate magnetic north, later evolving into more sophisticated magnetic needles floating on water or mounted on pins. The compass enabled long-distance sea travel, exploration, and trade, facilitating the expansion of Chinese maritime influence and connections with other regions through the Silk Road and maritime routes. It also enhanced cartography, making maps more accurate and reliable. Beyond China, the compass spread to the Islamic world and Europe, playing a critical role in global exploration and maritime history. By providing a reliable tool for orientation, the compass transformed commerce, diplomacy, and cultural exchange, demonstrating how technological innovation can expand human knowledge, connect distant civilizations, and reshape economic and social landscapes across the world. 48. Chinese calligraphy was considered a high art form. Chinese calligraphy, practiced for thousands of years, elevated writing to a sophisticated form of artistic expression. Using brush, ink, and paper or silk, calligraphers transformed characters into visual art, emphasizing balance, rhythm, and beauty. Calligraphy reflected personal style, intellectual refinement, and moral character, making it both an aesthetic and cultural practice. Scholars, officials, and artists studied and mastered different script styles, including seal, clerical, cursive, and regular scripts. Calligraphy adorned official documents, literature, religious texts, and decorative arts, playing a central role in cultural life and education. It was closely linked to painting, poetry, and philosophy, emphasizing harmony between mind, body, and technique. Appreciation for calligraphy transcended mere literacy, representing a spiritual and intellectual pursuit. Chinese calligraphy influenced East Asian cultures, inspiring Japanese and Korean writing arts. Its enduring importance reflects the deep respect for language, artistry, and cultural heritage in Chinese society, showcasing how functional writing can evolve into a celebrated, expressive art form. 49. Chinese dynasties ruled for thousands of years with centralized authority. Chinese dynasties, spanning thousands of years, established centralized governments that maintained political stability, territorial control, and cultural cohesion. Dynasties like the Qin, Han, Tang, and Ming implemented bureaucracies with officials selected through examinations or hereditary positions, overseeing taxation, law enforcement, infrastructure, and military organization. Emperors held supreme authority, often viewed as the Son of Heaven, legitimizing rule through divine mandate. Centralized governance enabled large-scale projects, including the Great Wall, irrigation systems, roads, and palaces, which supported economic growth and social order. Dynasties codified laws, standardized weights, measures, and currency, facilitating trade and administration. Education, philosophy, and culture flourished under centralized support, reinforcing Confucian principles of hierarchy, duty, and ethics. Despite periods of rebellion or regional fragmentation, the enduring structure of dynastic authority allowed China to maintain continuity in governance, culture, and identity. The legacy of dynastic rule demonstrates the effectiveness of organized, centralized political systems in managing vast territories and complex societies over centuries. 50. Tea drinking became an important cultural tradition in ancient China. Tea drinking in ancient China emerged over 4,000 years ago and evolved into a central cultural practice with social, medicinal, and ceremonial significance. Initially valued for its health benefits, tea was consumed for relaxation, focus, and spiritual reflection. By the Tang dynasty, tea drinking became widespread, accompanied by elaborate preparation, brewing techniques, and etiquette. Tea ceremonies emphasized harmony, respect, and mindfulness, influencing art, poetry, and literature. Varieties of tea, such as green, black, and oolong, were cultivated, processed, and traded, contributing to regional economies and international exchange along the Silk Road. Tea houses and gatherings provided spaces for social interaction, philosophical discussion, and cultural engagement. The tradition of tea reflects China's appreciation for nature, ritual, and refined taste. Its influence extended to Japan, Korea, and beyond, shaping global tea culture. Tea drinking illustrates how a simple beverage can embody cultural identity, social values, and historical continuity, remaining a cherished tradition for millennia. 51. Indus Valley Civilization had well-planned cities with drainage systems. The Indus Valley Civilization, flourishing around 3300 to 1300 BCE in present-day Pakistan and northwest India, was remarkable for its advanced urban planning. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were carefully laid out in grid patterns, with streets intersecting at right angles and residential and public areas clearly organized. Sophisticated drainage systems carried wastewater away from homes, connecting to larger municipal channels, demonstrating early engineering and sanitation awareness. Public wells and baths ensured clean water access, while standardized bricks maintained structural uniformity. These innovations reflect a high degree of civic planning, social organization, and technological knowledge. The civilization's emphasis on cleanliness, order, and efficiency in urban design influenced later settlements in South Asia. Trade, agriculture, and crafts thrived due to the practical layout and infrastructure. The Indus Valley's urban sophistication illustrates how early civilizations achieved functional, sustainable cities, balancing daily life, community needs, and environmental adaptation, leaving a lasting legacy in the history of urban development and human ingenuity. 52. Mohenjo-Daro featured advanced urban planning and brick houses. Mohenjo-Daro, one of the major cities of the Indus Valley Civilization, showcased remarkable urban design and architecture around 2500 BCE. Streets were laid out in a precise grid,
with major avenues intersected by smaller lanes, facilitating easy movement and organization. Houses were constructed from standardized baked bricks, often 2 stories high, with flat roofs, courtyards, and private wells. The city featured public buildings, granaries, and a large central bath, emphasizing community planning and hygiene. Advanced drainage systems efficiently removed wastewater, demonstrating an understanding of sanitation and civil engineering. Mohenjo-Daro's urban sophistication reflects the civilization's social structure, civic planning, and technological capabilities. It was a hub of trade, crafts, and administration, indicating a prosperous and organized society. Archaeological discoveries reveal that residents enjoyed a high standard of living with access to clean water, sanitation, and durable housing. Mohenjo-Daro exemplifies how early humans created functional, well-ordered cities, setting benchmarks for urban development that continue to fascinate historians, architects, and archaeologists today. 53. Ancient India developed early forms of mathematics, including the concept of zero. Ancient India made significant contributions to mathematics, including the invention of the concept of zero, the decimal system, and early algebra. Mathematicians like Aryabhata, Brahmagupta, and Bhaskara developed methods for arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy, influencing calculations, engineering, and trade. The concept of zero, represented by a dot or small circle, revolutionized mathematics by allowing positional notation, simplifying computations, and laying the foundation for modern numerical systems. Indian scholars also explored negative numbers, square roots, and algebraic equations, demonstrating advanced abstract thinking. These mathematical principles were transmitted to the Islamic world and eventually to Europe, shaping global mathematics, science, and technology. Ancient Indian mathematics was closely tied to astronomy, architecture, and commerce, providing practical tools for daily life and scholarly pursuits. By developing innovative numerical concepts, ancient India played a crucial role in human intellectual history, illustrating how abstract ideas can transform civilizations, influence education, and leave an enduring impact on global knowledge systems. 54. Sanskrit became the classical language of literature and religion. Sanskrit, emerging in ancient India around 1500 BCE, became the classical language of literature, philosophy, and religion. It was used to compose sacred texts such as the Vedas, Upanishads, and epics like the Mahabharata and Ramayana, preserving spiritual teachings, moral guidance, and cultural traditions. Sanskrit's precise grammar, developed by scholars like Panini, enabled complex expression, logical structure, and poetic artistry. It was employed in rituals, ceremonies, and scholarly discourse, allowing ideas to be transmitted across generations with clarity and consistency. Beyond religious contexts, Sanskrit served as a medium for scientific, mathematical, and philosophical writings, fostering intellectual exchange and learning. Its influence extended across South and Southeast Asia, shaping languages, literature, and education in regions including Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia. The enduring legacy of Sanskrit illustrates how a language can preserve knowledge, culture, and spiritual insight, connecting past civilizations to modern scholarship and inspiring ongoing study of literature, philosophy, and linguistics worldwide. 55. Hinduism and early Buddhism originated in ancient India. Ancient India was the birthplace of Hinduism and early Buddhism, 2 major world religions that shaped culture, philosophy, and society. Hinduism, with roots in the Vedic period, emphasized dharma, duty, karma, actions, and moksha, liberation, alongside devotion to gods like Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi. Rituals, festivals, and sacred texts guided ethical living, spiritual growth, and social order. Buddhism emerged around the 5th to 4th century BCE, founded by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, who taught the 4 Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path to end suffering and achieve enlightenment. Buddhist teachings promoted compassion, meditation, and moral discipline, influencing monastic life, art, and architecture across Asia. Both religions contributed to literature, philosophy, education, and governance, fostering cultural continuity and intellectual exploration. Through temples, rituals, and pilgrimages, they shaped community life, ethics, and spiritual practices. The origin of Hinduism and Buddhism in ancient India demonstrates the profound impact of religious thought on human society, cultural identity, and global spiritual heritage.
56. Vedas were sacred texts that guided religious and social life. The Vedas, composed between 1500 and 500 BCE, are a collection of sacred texts central to ancient Indian religion and society. Written in Sanskrit, they consist of hymns, prayers, rituals, and philosophical discourses that guided daily life, spiritual practices, and moral conduct. The four main Vedas, Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda, addressed a range of topics, from ceremonies and sacrifices to cosmology and ethics. These texts established a framework for rituals, social duties, and governance, shaping the culture and traditions of early Indian civilization. Priests, scholars, and communities relied on the Vedas to preserve knowledge and transmit it orally across generations, ensuring continuity of religious and cultural practices. The Vedas influenced later philosophical schools, legal codes, and literature, forming the backbone of Hindu thought and society. By providing spiritual guidance and ethical direction, the Vedas played a crucial role in shaping the values, beliefs, and organizational structures of ancient India, leaving an enduring legacy in religion, philosophy, and culture. 57. Ancient Indians practiced advanced metallurgy and crafted tools from bronze. Ancient India was known for its advanced metallurgical skills, producing tools, weapons, and decorative items from bronze, copper, and other metals. Bronze casting techniques, particularly the lost wax method, allowed craftsmen to create intricate statues, sculptures, and functional objects with precision and artistic detail. Tools and weapons made from bronze improved agriculture, warfare, and construction, enhancing societal productivity and security. Archaeological finds from the Indus Valley Civilization, such as axes, chisels, and ornaments, showcase the technical expertise and innovation of ancient Indian metalworkers. Metallurgy was closely linked to trade, as metal objects and skills were exchanged with neighboring civilizations, promoting economic and cultural interactions. These achievements reflect not only practical knowledge but also aesthetic sensibilities, demonstrating a combination of functionality and artistry. Ancient Indian metallurgy highlights the civilization's ingenuity, technical mastery, and contribution to material culture, influencing later technological developments in Asia and beyond and showcasing the importance of craft and science in sustaining complex societies. 58. Yoga originated as a spiritual and physical discipline in India. Yoga, originating in ancient India over 3,000 years ago, was developed as a comprehensive spiritual and physical discipline aimed at uniting mind, body, and spirit. Early practices combined meditation, breathing techniques, postures, and ethical principles to achieve self-awareness, inner peace, and liberation from suffering. Yoga was closely linked to Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, forming part of religious rituals and philosophical teachings. The foundational texts, including the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, outlined methods for concentration, discipline, and moral conduct, emphasizing balance and harmony. Over time, yoga evolved into diverse schools and practices, influencing medicine, fitness, and mental well-being. It provided tools for stress reduction, flexibility, and self-discipline, integrating physical health with spiritual growth. Yoga also fostered community and cultural identity, connecting practitioners to philosophical traditions and ethical living. Its enduring popularity worldwide demonstrates the profound influence of ancient Indian wisdom on global health, spirituality, and lifestyle, highlighting a holistic approach to human well-being. 59. Ancient Indian astronomers could calculate eclipses accurately. Ancient Indian astronomers, such as Aryabhata and Varahamihira, achieved remarkable precision in observing celestial phenomena, including solar and lunar eclipses. Using mathematical calculations, positional astronomy, and careful observations of planetary movements, They could predict eclipse timings and durations with impressive accuracy. These calculations were recorded in texts like the Aryabhatiya and Brihat Samhita, combining scientific observation with calendrical systems for religious and agricultural purposes. Eclipses held cultural and ritual significance, influencing ceremonies, festivals, and daily life, making accurate predictions essential for society. Indian astronomers also studied planetary orbits, constellations, and the motion of celestial bodies, contributing to the global understanding of astronomy. Their methods laid the foundation for trigonometry, timekeeping, and celestial navigation. The ability to calculate eclipses accurately demonstrates the advanced scientific knowledge, mathematical skill, and observational expertise of ancient India. It highlights the civilization's dedication to understanding the cosmos and integrating scientific discovery with cultural, religious, and practical applications. 60. Trade in spices, textiles, and gems connected India with other civilizations. Ancient India was a hub of trade, exporting spices, textiles, gemstones, and other valuable commodities to civilizations across Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. Goods like pepper, cinnamon, silk, cotton, and precious stones traveled along land and maritime routes, fostering economic prosperity and cultural exchange. The Silk Road and Indian Ocean trade networks facilitated the movement of goods, ideas, technology, and religious beliefs between India, China, Persia, and Rome. Merchants and artisans benefited from this vibrant trade, supporting urban development, wealth accumulation, and social mobility. Trade also encouraged innovation in navigation, shipbuilding, and banking practices. Cultural influences, including art, cuisine, and religious practices, spread along these networks, creating a dynamic exchange of knowledge and traditions. India's prominence in international trade highlights the civilization's economic ingenuity, resourcefulness, and global connectivity. By linking distant regions, Indian commerce played a critical role in shaping early globalization and the interdependence of ancient civilizations. 61. Mesopotamians invented the first plough for agriculture. Mesopotamians developed the first plough around 3000 BCE, revolutionizing agriculture and enabling the cultivation of larger areas with greater efficiency. Early ploughs were simple wooden tools pulled by oxen, designed to break and turn the soil, allowing crops such as barley, wheat, and legumes to grow more successfully. This innovation increased food production, supporting population growth, urbanization, and the emergence of complex societies. The plough reduced manual labor, improved farming efficiency, and allowed for surplus harvests that could be stored or traded. Agricultural productivity became a foundation for social organization, specialization of labor, and economic development in Mesopotamia. Over time, plough designs were refined with stronger materials and better construction techniques, influencing farming methods across the ancient world. The invention of the plough demonstrates how technological innovation in agriculture can transform society, supporting population stability, trade, and cultural advancement. 62. City of Ur was a major center of trade and religion. Ur, one of Mesopotamia's most important cities, flourished around 2100 BCE as a hub of commerce, culture, and religious activity. Situated near the Persian Gulf, it was strategically located for trade in goods such as textiles, grains, metals, and pottery, connecting Mesopotamian cities with distant regions. Ur's prosperity was supported by advanced irrigation, urban planning, and administrative organization. Religious life centered around ziggurats, particularly the Great Ziggurat of Ur, dedicated to the moon god Nana, where priests performed rituals and ceremonies. The city also featured residential neighborhoods, markets, and workshops, reflecting a sophisticated social and economic structure. Ur's prominence in trade and religion made it a cultural and political center, attracting artisans, scholars, and officials. Archaeological discoveries reveal tombs, artifacts, and inscriptions that provide insight into daily life, governance, and beliefs. The city of Ur exemplifies how commerce and spirituality intertwined in early civilizations, fostering economic growth, social cohesion, and cultural development. 63. Akkadian Empire was one of the first empires in history. The Akkadian Empire, established by Sargon of Akkad around 2334 BCE, is considered one of the world's first empires. It unified multiple city-states of Mesopotamia under a centralized administration, establishing political and military dominance across a vast region. Sargon implemented standardized taxation, governance, and communication systems to maintain control over diverse populations. The empire promoted trade, cultural exchange, and the spread of the Akkadian language, which became the region's lingua franca. Military organization, fortifications, and administrative oversight enabled the Akkadians to expand their territory and consolidate power. The empire's achievements influenced later civilizations in Mesopotamia, including Babylon and Assyria, shaping ideas of imperial governance and centralized authority. Despite its eventual decline around 2154 BCE, the Akkadian Empire set a precedent for empire building, demonstrating the benefits and challenges of managing large, multi-ethnic territories. Its legacy highlights innovation in administration, military strategy, and cultural integration in human history. 64. Mesopotamians developed early forms of literature and poetry. Mesopotamian civilization created some of the earliest examples of literature and poetry, written in cuneiform on clay tablets. Epic tales, hymns, and myths conveyed cultural values, religious beliefs, and historical events. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known literary works, explores themes of heroism, friendship, mortality, and the search for immortality. Sumerian and Akkadian scribes composed prayers, laments, and royal inscriptions that documented accomplishments, divine favor, and societal norms. Poetry and storytelling served both educational and spiritual purposes, transmitting moral lessons and cultural knowledge across generations. The structured use of language, repetition, and rhythm demonstrates early literary creativity and narrative sophistication. Mesopotamian literature influenced subsequent civilizations, inspiring Greek, Roman, and biblical narratives. By combining imagination, ethics, and historical recording, these early literary forms provided insight into human experience, religion, and governance, highlighting the role of writing and storytelling in shaping collective identity and preserving cultural memory throughout history. 65. Babylonians built massive walls to protect their cities. Babylonians constructed massive walls around their cities to defend against invasions and maintain political stability. These fortifications, often made of mud bricks reinforced with towers and gates, surrounded key cities such as Babylon and Nippur. The walls were designed not only for military defense but also as symbols of power, wealth, and authority. Towers and battlements allowed archers and soldiers to monitor approaching threats, while gates regulated trade and access to the city. The famous walls of Babylon, including the Ishtar Gate, combined functionality with aesthetic grandeur, reflecting both engineering skill and artistic achievement. Urban fortifications provided security for inhabitants, protected agricultural resources, and preserved the integrity of administrative centers. By integrating defense, infrastructure, and symbolism, Babylonian walls exemplified the strategic, political, and cultural priorities of ancient Mesopotamian civilizations, demonstrating how architecture and engineering were used to maintain stability and project power across centuries. 66. Code of Hammurabi included rules for commerce and family life. The Code of Hammurabi, created around 1754 BCE by the Babylonian king Hammurabi, is one of the earliest known legal codes in history. Carved on a stele, it contains 282 laws covering a wide range of social, economic, and familial matters, including trade, property rights, marriage, inheritance, and labor. The code emphasized justice, often following the principle of an eye for an eye, and established consequences for theft, fraud, and misconduct. It regulated contracts, loans, and wages, ensuring fairness and consistency in commerce, while also defining family responsibilities, inheritance rights, and parental duties. By codifying rules, Hammurabi aimed to maintain order, resolve disputes, and protect both the strong and vulnerable members of society. The code influenced subsequent legal systems in Mesopotamia and beyond, demonstrating how law could formalize social norms, promote justice, and support the stability and governance of an advanced civilization. 67. Sumerians believed in many gods controlling natural events. The Sumerians practiced polytheism, believing that numerous gods controlled natural events, human destiny, and the order of the cosmos. Deities such as Anu, Enlil, and Inanna were associated with the sky, wind, and love, respectively, while others governed rivers, agriculture, and fertility. Religious rituals, offerings, and temple worship were central to appeasing these gods and securing favorable conditions for crops, health, and protection. Temples, or ziggurats, served as both spiritual centers and administrative hubs, highlighting the integration of religion into daily life. Sumerian myths and epic tales explained natural phenomena, such as floods, storms, and celestial movements, attributing them to divine action. Priests interpreted omens, guided public rituals, and advised rulers, reflecting the close relationship between religion and governance. This polytheistic belief system influenced neighboring civilizations and provided a framework for understanding the unpredictable forces of nature, demonstrating the importance of spirituality in shaping culture, morality, and societal organization. 68. Mesopotamians used clay tablets to record transactions. Mesopotamians developed a system of writing known as cuneiform, inscribed on clay tablets, to record economic, legal, and administrative transactions. These tablets documented trade, taxes, loans, and labor agreements, allowing merchants, farmers, and officials to track goods and services accurately. Clay was abundant, durable, and easily molded, making it ideal for writing and archiving important information. Styluses were used to imprint wedge-shaped symbols, creating one of the world's earliest forms of written communication. Record-keeping facilitated complex trade networks, urban administration, and taxation, enabling societies to function efficiently and maintain accountability. Some tablets included contracts, receipts, and inventories, while others preserved letters, literary texts, and historical accounts. The use of clay tablets illustrates the ingenuity of Mesopotamian civilizations in organizing, regulating, and transmitting knowledge. It represents a critical step in human history, marking the transition from oral traditions to written documentation that would influence legal, economic, and cultural systems for millennia. 69. Astronomy helped Mesopotamians predict seasons and floods. Mesopotamian astronomers carefully observed the movements of the sun, moon, planets, and stars to predict seasonal changes and agricultural cycles. They recorded patterns of eclipses, lunar phases, and celestial events on clay tablets, which guided planting, harvesting, and irrigation. Predicting floods from the Tigris and Euphrates rivers was especially important, as agriculture relied on timely water management. Temples often served as observatories, where priest-astronomers monitored the skies and advised rulers on religious festivals, crop schedules, and civic planning. Their systematic observations contributed to early forms of calendars, timekeeping, and mathematical calculations. Astronomy was intertwined with religion, as celestial phenomena were linked to the actions of gods, influencing decision-making and rituals. By combining empirical observation with spiritual interpretation, Mesopotamians developed one of the earliest scientific approaches to understanding the natural world. Their achievements in astronomy demonstrate the critical role of science in sustaining civilization, supporting agriculture, governance, and cultural development. 70. trade networks extended to India and the Mediterranean. Mesopotamian civilizations established extensive trade networks connecting their cities with regions as far as India and the Mediterranean. Merchants transported goods such as grains, textiles, metals, gemstones, and pottery along rivers, overland routes, and maritime channels. Trade facilitated economic growth, urban development, and cultural exchange, introducing new technologies, ideas, and artistic influences. Cities like Ur, Babylon, and Nineveh became commercial hubs, where local craftsmen produced goods for both domestic use and export. Diplomatic relations and treaties often accompanied trade, ensuring safe passage and fostering political alliances. Trade networks also encouraged the standardization of weights, measures, and currency, enhancing reliability and efficiency in transactions. These networks connected diverse civilizations, spreading cultural, religious, and technological innovations across regions. Mesopotamian trade exemplifies how commerce can drive interaction, cooperation, and interdependence among early societies, shaping the economic, cultural, and political landscapes of the ancient world. 71. Persian Empire stretched from Egypt to India at its peak. The Persian Empire, particularly under Darius I and Xerxes, expanded to cover a vast territory stretching from Egypt in the west to India in the east around the 5th century BCE. This immense empire encompassed diverse cultures, languages, and landscapes, requiring sophisticated administration to maintain order and stability. Regional satraps governed provinces while paying tribute to the central authority, balancing local autonomy with imperial control. The empire facilitated trade, cultural exchange, and communication across its vast expanse, linking Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and the eastern Mediterranean. Roads, canals, and courier systems allowed officials and merchants to move efficiently, supporting economic integration and military coordination. The Persian Empire is renowned for its tolerance of conquered peoples, respecting local customs and religions while promoting cohesion through infrastructure, law, and governance. Its territorial reach demonstrated the scale of human ambition and organizational capability in the ancient world, leaving a lasting legacy in history, politics, and cultural integration. 72. Cyrus the Great founded the Achaemenid Empire. Cyrus the Great, who ruled from 559 to 530 BCE, established the Achaemenid Empire, unifying the Persian tribes and creating one of the first major empires in world history. He conquered the Median, Lydian, and Babylonian kingdoms, expanding Persia's reach while respecting local customs, religions, and administrative structures. Cyrus is celebrated for his enlightened governance, promoting tolerance and justice, exemplified in the Cyrus Cylinder, often considered the first declaration of human rights. His military strategy, diplomacy, and organizational skills allowed the empire to thrive, laying foundations for trade, infrastructure, and cultural exchange. Cities under his rule benefited from security, administrative efficiency, and economic prosperity. Cyrus's legacy influenced successors like Darius I and shaped political thought regarding leadership, tolerance, and empire management. By combining conquest with humane governance, Cyrus the Great created a model of imperial administration admired throughout history, demonstrating how leadership, strategy, and respect for diverse populations can build a lasting and stable empire. 73. Royal Road allowed efficient communication across Persia. The Royal Road, constructed during the Achaemenid Empire, was a remarkable network stretching over 1,500 miles, connecting major cities from Sardis in modern Turkey to Susa in Iran. This infrastructure enabled rapid communication, trade, and administration across the vast Persian Empire. Couriers, known as the Angarium, could relay messages along the road in days, allowing emperors to maintain control, coordinate military campaigns, and manage governance efficiently. The road also facilitated the movement of merchants, travelers, and troops, strengthening economic integration and cultural exchange among diverse regions. Relay stations provided food, lodging, and fresh horses, ensuring consistent and reliable transport. The Royal Road exemplifies how infrastructure supported centralized authority, economic growth, and connectivity in ancient empires. It allowed Persia to maintain stability and cohesion despite its immense size, demonstrating the importance of logistics, planning, and technology in governance. The road's legacy influenced subsequent empires and remains a testament to Persian engineering and administrative skill. 74. Zoroastrianism was one of the earliest monotheistic religions. Zoroastrianism, founded by the prophet Zoroaster, or Zarathustra, in ancient Persia around the 6th century BCE, is considered one of the world's earliest monotheistic religions. It centers on the worship of Ahura Mazda, the supreme god representing truth, light, and order, while opposing evil forces symbolized by Angra Mainyu. Zoroastrian teachings emphasize ethical behavior, moral choice, and the duality of good versus evil, influencing individual conduct and societal norms. Rituals, prayers, and fire temples played central roles in spiritual life, symbolizing purity and divine presence. The religion also introduced concepts such as heaven, hell, and judgment after death, which later influenced Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Zoroastrianism guided Persian governance, ethics, and culture, shaping social values and political ideology. Its principles of truth, justice, and human responsibility highlight the intersection of religion, morality, and civilization. The faith's endurance demonstrates the lasting impact of spiritual and ethical frameworks on culture, law, and philosophical thought. 75. Persians built impressive palaces with intricate reliefs. Persian emperors, particularly during the Achaemenid period, constructed grand palaces such as those at Persepolis and Susa, showcasing architectural sophistication and artistic achievement. These palaces featured large halls, columned terraces, and ceremonial spaces designed for administration, court ceremonies, and royal audiences. Walls and stairways were adorned with intricate reliefs depicting kings, nobles, soldiers, and delegations from across the empire, reflecting both political power and cultural diversity. Reliefs often illustrated ceremonial processions, tribute-bearing envoys, and symbolic representations of unity, strength, and loyalty. Skilled artisans carved detailed images in stone, combining realism with symbolic significance, demonstrating technical mastery and aesthetic sensibility. Palaces served as centers of governance, culture, and diplomacy, reinforcing imperial authority while celebrating the empire's wealth and cosmopolitan character. The grandeur and artistry of Persian palaces highlight the empire's achievements in architecture, sculpture, and statecraft, leaving a legacy admired for its elegance, cultural expression, and historical significance. 76. Persepolis served as a ceremonial capital of Persia. Persepolis, founded by Darius I around 518 BCE, functioned as the ceremonial capital of the Achaemenid Empire, symbolizing Persian power, wealth, and cultural unity. The city hosted grand festivals, particularly the Nowruz New Year celebration, where representatives from various regions presented tribute to the king. Palaces, audience halls, and monumental staircases showcased advanced architecture, while intricate stone reliefs depicted delegations, soldiers, and court rituals, emphasizing imperial authority and diversity. Persepolis was not a permanent administrative center but served to impress visitors and reinforce loyalty among subject nations. The city's design incorporated terraces, columned halls, and elaborate gateways, reflecting both Persian innovation and influence from conquered regions. Despite its eventual destruction by Alexander the Great in 330 BCE, Persepolis remains an enduring symbol of Persian culture, ceremonial grandeur, and artistic achievement, demonstrating how architecture and urban planning were used to project political power and cultural identity across a vast empire. 77. Persian armies included diverse groups from across the empire. The Persian Empire maintained armies composed of soldiers drawn from its vast and diverse territories, including Persians, Medes, Egyptians, Greeks, and other subject peoples. This diversity allowed the empire to utilize specialized skills, regional knowledge, and varied military traditions, enhancing tactical flexibility and strength. Units included infantry, cavalry, archers, and charioteers, coordinated under experienced commanders to maintain discipline and effectiveness in battle. Persian armies relied on logistics, organization, and standardized training to support campaigns across mountains, deserts, and rivers. Cultural diversity within the army encouraged exchange of military techniques and strategies, while loyalty was reinforced through compensation, honors, and integration into the imperial system. This multi-ethnic composition exemplified the empire's ability to unify different peoples under a central authority, reflecting both administrative skill and political strategy. Persian military diversity contributed to territorial expansion, defense, and the empire's long-lasting influence on subsequent military organization and strategy in the ancient world. 78. Satraps governed different regions of the empire. Satraps, regional governors appointed by the Persian emperor, managed provinces known as satrapies across the vast Achaemenid Empire. They oversaw administration, taxation, law enforcement, and local military forces, ensuring that the central authority's policies were implemented effectively. Each satrap maintained a degree of autonomy while remaining accountable to the emperor through inspections, reports, and royal envoys. The system allowed the empire to govern diverse populations, languages, and cultures efficiently, balancing local traditions with imperial control. Satraps collected tributes, protected trade routes, and maintained infrastructure, including roads, canals, and fortifications, contributing to economic stability and connectivity. Oversight mechanisms, such as the king's eyes and ears, ensured accountability and minimized corruption. This administrative innovation exemplified Persian organizational skill, enabling centralized control over a vast, multicultural empire. The satrap system influenced later empires, demonstrating how delegation, regional governance, and effective bureaucracy can maintain stability and cohesion across extensive territories. 79. Ancient Persians developed advanced irrigation techniques. Ancient Persians engineered sophisticated irrigation systems to manage water for agriculture in arid and semi-arid regions. They constructed qanats, underground channels that transported water from mountains to plains, allowing crops to thrive without relying solely on surface water. Canals, dams, and reservoirs further supported farmland, gardens, and urban centers, enabling population growth and economic stability. These techniques minimized evaporation, conserved water, and maximized efficiency, demonstrating remarkable engineering knowledge. Persian irrigation systems allowed cultivation of cereals, fruits, and vegetables, sustaining both rural communities and urban populations. Agricultural surplus supported trade, taxation, and the empire's administrative needs. The technological and practical knowledge involved in water management also facilitated urban development and settlement expansion in challenging climates. Ancient Persian irrigation reflects the civilization's ingenuity, environmental adaptation, and commitment to sustaining economic and social systems, illustrating how engineering innovation can profoundly impact agriculture, settlement, and prosperity in human history. 80. Persian Empire influenced later civilizations in government and architecture. The Persian Empire left a lasting impact on subsequent civilizations through its innovations in governance, administration, and architecture. Its centralized bureaucracy, satrap system, and legal frameworks inspired later empires, demonstrating effective strategies for managing vast, multicultural territories. Persian architecture, including palaces, monumental staircases, columned halls, and decorative reliefs, influenced Greek, Roman, and Islamic design traditions. Infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, and irrigation systems promoted trade, communication, and urban development, providing models for future civilizations. The emphasis on ceremonial centers, public spaces, and symbolic art reinforced political authority and cultural identity. Persian principles of tolerance, integration of local customs, and diplomatic relations also influenced governance approaches in later empires. By combining administrative efficiency, architectural innovation, and cultural diplomacy, the Persian Empire shaped the political, economic, and artistic foundations of subsequent civilizations, leaving a legacy of practical and aesthetic achievements that continue to resonate throughout the ancient and medieval worlds. 81. Maya built stepped pyramids for religious ceremonies. The Maya civilization constructed stepped pyramids as central structures for religious, ceremonial, and political purposes. These pyramids, often made of stone and featuring terraces or staircases, served as temples where priests conducted rituals, offerings, and sacrifices to honor gods like Kukulkan and Chark. The pyramids were strategically aligned with celestial events, such as solstices and equinoxes, reflecting the Mayas' advanced understanding of astronomy and their belief in cosmic order. Large plazas surrounding the pyramids hosted public ceremonies, festivals, and gatherings, reinforcing social cohesion and political authority. Some pyramids, like El Castillo at Chichén Itzá, incorporated architectural features that created visual and acoustic effects during specific times of the year, showcasing engineering sophistication. Stepped pyramids symbolize the connection between the earthly and divine realms, embodying religious devotion, cultural identity, and societal organization. These monumental structures remain a testament to the Mayas' architectural ingenuity and spiritual traditions, attracting study and admiration worldwide. 82. Maya developed a highly accurate calendar system. The Maya civilization created one of the most precise calendar systems in the ancient world, combining the Tzolk'in, 260-day ritual calendar, and Hab, 365-day solar calendar, to track religious, agricultural, and political events. These calendars were used to schedule ceremonies, harvests, and civic activities, ensuring alignment with astronomical observations. The Maya also employed the long count calendar to record historical dates over centuries, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of time and chronology. Astronomy played a crucial role, as calculations of solstices, eclipses, and planetary movements influenced calendar accuracy. The calendars guided rituals, divination, and social organization, emphasizing the Mayas' belief in cyclical time and cosmic balance. Knowledge of these calendars was maintained by specialized priest astronomers, who used codices, stelae, and carvings to preserve and transmit information. The precision and complexity of the Maya calendar system demonstrate the civilization's mathematical expertise, observational skill, and cultural emphasis on the interplay between time, spirituality, and governance. 83. Mayan writing system used hieroglyphs for communication. The Maya developed a sophisticated writing system based on hieroglyphs, combining pictorial symbols and phonetic elements to convey language, history, and religious knowledge. This script was used to record events, royal lineages, astronomical data, rituals, and mythology on stone monuments, pottery, and codices made from bark paper. Scribes, often priests or elite members of society, mastered the complex system to preserve cultural knowledge and communicate across generations. Hieroglyphic inscriptions allowed the Maya to document political alliances, wars, and ceremonies, maintaining social and historical continuity. The writing system also served religious purposes, helping priests interpret omens, perform rituals, and instruct the community. Deciphering Mayan hieroglyphs has provided modern scholars with valuable insights into Maya civilization, its governance, beliefs, and daily life. This innovative script exemplifies the Mayas' intellectual achievements, demonstrating how written communication can preserve culture, transmit knowledge, and enhance societal organization. 84. Aztecs built Tenochtitlan on an island in Lake Texcoco. Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire, was constructed on an island in Lake Texcoco around 1325 CE. Its unique location provided natural defense against invaders while allowing access to water for agriculture, transportation, and trade. The city featured causeways, canals, and chinampas, artificial floating gardens, that supported intensive farming and sustained a growing population. Tenochtitlan's urban layout included plazas, temples, palaces, marketplaces, and administrative centers, reflecting advanced engineering, planning, and social organization. The Templo Mayor, a massive twin pyramid temple, served as the religious heart of the city, where ceremonies and sacrifices were performed to honor gods such as Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc. Tenochtitlan became a hub of political power, commerce, and culture, attracting merchants, artisans, and scholars from across the region. The city exemplifies Aztec innovation in urban planning, agriculture, and architecture, illustrating how strategic environmental adaptation supported one of the most remarkable civilizations in pre-Columbian America. 85. Aztec society was organized into city-states with rulers. Aztec society was structured around city-states, or altepetl, each governed by a ruler known as a Tlatoani. These city-states formed alliances and engaged in warfare to expand territory, collect tribute, and maintain influence over surrounding regions. Social hierarchy included nobles, priests, warriors, artisans, and commoners, with clear roles and responsibilities contributing to political, economic, and religious life. Rulers held both secular and spiritual authority, overseeing military campaigns, legal matters, and religious ceremonies. City-states maintained marketplaces, temples, and infrastructure to support urban populations and trade networks. Tribute from conquered regions, including food, labor, and precious goods, sustained the empire and reinforced the power of elite classes. This organized political and social structure allowed the Aztec Empire to govern large territories, integrate diverse populations, and maintain stability while promoting cultural and religious unity. The city-state system demonstrates the sophisticated governance, social organization, and strategic planning characteristic of the Aztec civilization. 86. Inca Empire used terraces to farm steep mountain slopes. The Inca civilization developed agricultural terraces, known as andans, to cultivate crops on the steep slopes of the Andes Mountains. These terraces reduced soil erosion, conserved water, and created flat, arable land in otherwise rugged terrain. The Incas grew potatoes, maize, quinoa, and other crops, adapting farming techniques to different altitudes and climates. Terrace walls retained heat and moisture, improving crop yields and supporting dense populations. The construction required precise engineering, using stone retaining walls, drainage channels, and soil layers to maintain stability and fertility. Terracing not only enhanced food security but also demonstrated the Incas' environmental knowledge and ingenuity. By maximizing agricultural potential in challenging landscapes, the Inca terraces contributed to the empire's economic strength, social organization, and ability to sustain large urban centers like Cusco and Machu Picchu. This innovation reflects the civilization's ability to harmonize human activity with natural geography, leaving a lasting legacy in agricultural engineering. 87. Quipu was an Inca system of recording information using knotted strings. The Incas used quipu, a system of knotted strings, to record numerical and administrative information without a written language. Knots of different types, positions, and colors represented quantities, dates, and categories, allowing officials to track census data, taxes, resources, and labor contributions. Quipus were managed by trained specialists called quipucamayaks, who ensured accurate record-keeping across the empire. This system enabled centralized administration and coordination despite the challenging geography of the Andes. Quipu also supported communication between distant regions, facilitating governance, trade, and logistics. Some scholars suggest quipus may have recorded historical events, stories, or messages, though interpretations remain debated. The use of quipu highlights the Incas' innovative approach to data management and information technology, demonstrating an advanced understanding of abstraction, mathematics, and organization. It reflects the civilization's ability to maintain complex social, economic, and political systems through creative and practical solutions adapted to local conditions. 88. Mayan civilization studied astronomy and predicted solar eclipses. The Maya were skilled astronomers who closely observed celestial bodies to understand patterns in the sky. They could predict solar and lunar eclipses using precise calculations of planetary movements, lunar cycles, and solar positions. Observatories and carefully aligned temples, such as those at Uxmal and Chichen Itza, allowed priests to track celestial events with accuracy. Astronomy guided agricultural activities, religious rituals, and the scheduling of festivals, ensuring alignment with cosmic cycles. Celestial observations were recorded in codices, inscriptions, and stelae, combining mathematical knowledge with spiritual interpretation. Mayan astronomers developed calendars based on these observations, integrating ritual and solar cycles to create a sophisticated temporal system. Their work demonstrates an advanced understanding of mathematics, observation, and long-term planning. By linking astronomy with daily life, religion, and governance, the Maya exemplified how scientific knowledge can serve both practical and cultural purposes, influencing societal organization and contributing to the civilization's enduring legacy. 89. Human sacrifices were part of Aztec religious practices. Human sacrifice was a central component of Aztec religious rituals, believed to appease gods and ensure cosmic balance. Victims, often captives of war, were offered to deities such as Huitzilopochtli, the god of the sun and war, to secure the sun's daily rise, rainfall, and fertility of the land. Ceremonies were conducted on temple pyramids, including the Templo Maya, and involved symbolic rituals, chanting, and offerings alongside the sacrifice. These practices reinforced social hierarchy, political power, and religious authority, while also serving as a form of ritualized diplomacy and control over conquered peoples. Sacrificial practices were deeply integrated into the Aztec worldview, reflecting beliefs about the interconnectedness of life, death, and divine forces. While disturbing by modern standards, these rituals demonstrate the complex relationship between religion, governance, and societal cohesion in Aztec culture, highlighting the significance of ritual as both a spiritual and political instrument in maintaining the empire's stability. 90. Inca roads connected distant parts of the empire efficiently. The Inca Empire built an extensive network of roads spanning over 25,000 miles, linking remote regions of the Andes with administrative, military, and commercial centers. These roads facilitated rapid communication, troop movement, and trade across challenging mountainous terrain. Constructed with stone paving, bridges, and stairways, the roads were engineered to withstand landslides, floods, and erosion, demonstrating remarkable civil engineering skills. Relay runners, or chasquis, carried messages and goods along these routes, ensuring coordination across the empire. Roads connected cities, agricultural areas, and ceremonial sites, supporting governance, economic integration, and cultural cohesion. The system included way stations for rest and resource storage, enhancing efficiency and reliability. The Inca road network exemplifies how infrastructure can unify diverse regions, enable administrative control, and sustain large populations. Its durability and strategic planning reflect the civilization's ingenuity in overcoming geographical challenges and fostering a connected, functional empire. 91. Phoenicians invented an early alphabet used by Greeks and Romans. The Phoenicians, thriving around 1500 to 300 BCE along the eastern Mediterranean, created one of the earliest alphabets, which simplified writing compared to complex cuneiform and hieroglyphs. This system used symbols representing individual sounds, making literacy more accessible and efficient for trade, record-keeping, and communication. The Greek and Roman alphabets were directly influenced by Phoenician writing, forming the foundation of modern Western scripts. Phoenician merchants used the alphabet to document transactions, contracts, and correspondence across the Mediterranean, facilitating commerce and cultural exchange. Its simplicity allowed adaptation to multiple languages, promoting literacy and administrative efficiency. The Phoenician alphabet exemplifies how innovation in communication can transform society, enabling knowledge preservation, trade expansion, and cross-cultural influence. By providing a practical and flexible writing system, the Phoenicians left a lasting legacy in language, education, and documentation that continues to shape human communication today. 92. Carthage became a powerful trading city in North Africa. Carthage, founded by Phoenician settlers in modern-day Tunisia around 814 BCE, emerged as a dominant trading city and maritime power in North Africa. Its strategic location on the Mediterranean coast allowed Carthaginians to control sea routes, facilitating trade in goods such as silver, textiles, timber, and agricultural products. The city's navy protected merchant fleets, while fortified harbors ensured security against rival powers. Carthage's economy thrived through commerce, tribute, and colonies, extending influence across the Western Mediterranean. The city developed sophisticated urban planning, including roads, markets, temples, and defensive walls, reflecting both wealth and administrative organization. Carthage became known for its skilled merchants, artisans, and military leaders, participating in conflicts with Rome, such as the Punic Wars. Its rise demonstrates how trade, strategic geography, and political organization can transform a settlement into a powerful economic and cultural center, leaving a legacy that influenced Mediterranean civilizations for centuries. 93. Hittites were early users of iron in weapons and tools. The Hittites, centered in Anatolia around 1600 to 1200 BCE, were among the first civilizations to utilize iron for weapons and tools, marking a transformative period in metallurgy. Iron was stronger and more durable than bronze, giving Hittite armies a military advantage in battles and conquests. They developed techniques for smelting and forging iron, producing swords, spears, chariots, and agricultural implements. The use of iron improved efficiency in farming, construction, and craftsmanship, supporting economic growth and societal development. Hittite ironwork influenced neighboring civilizations, contributing to the spread of iron technology throughout the ancient Near East. This innovation marked the beginning of the Iron Age, transforming warfare, agriculture, and craftsmanship worldwide. By pioneering iron use, the Hittites demonstrated technological ingenuity and the ability to leverage materials science for both military dominance and everyday life, shaping the course of ancient human history. 94. Vikings explored and traded across Europe and North Atlantic. Vikings, seafaring people from Scandinavia between the 8th and 11th centuries CE, were renowned for exploration, trade, and raiding across Europe and the North Atlantic. Using advanced longships capable of navigating oceans and rivers, they reached as far as modern-day England, France, Iceland, Greenland, and even North America. Vikings established trade networks exchanging furs, amber, silver, and other goods, connecting distant regions and cultures. Their settlements included urban centers, fortifications, and agricultural communities, integrating local resources and trade opportunities. Beyond commerce, Vikings impacted political structures, warfare, and cultural exchange through interactions with other civilizations. Mythology, art, and social organization reflected a complex society with beliefs in gods like Odin and Thor. Viking exploration exemplifies how mobility, maritime technology, and trade shaped regional and intercontinental connections, influencing European history, culture, and economic networks for centuries. 95. Ancient Japan developed Shintoism and early imperial systems. Ancient Japan, particularly during the Yayoi and Kofun periods, c. 300 BCE, 700 CE, developed Shintoism and early imperial structures that shaped Japanese society and culture. Shinto, a native religion, emphasized reverence for kami, or spirits, associated with nature, ancestors, and sacred sites. Rituals, shrines, and festivals reinforced social cohesion and spiritual connection. Early imperial systems centralized political authority under the Yamato clan, combining governance with religious legitimacy. Emperors were seen as intermediaries between the divine and the people, guiding law, administration, and military affairs. The development of codified practices, court rituals, and hierarchical structures established the foundation for Japan's long-lasting imperial tradition. Shintoism influenced art, architecture, and cultural norms, emphasizing harmony with nature and societal duties. These early religious and political innovations illustrate how spirituality, governance, and cultural identity were intertwined, providing continuity and cohesion in Japanese civilization for centuries. 96. Etruscans influenced early Roman architecture and religion. The Etruscans, inhabiting central Italy around 900 to 400 BCE, had a profound impact on early Roman civilization. They introduced architectural innovations such as arches, vaults, and sophisticated urban planning, which Romans later expanded in their temples, bridges, and aqueducts. Etruscan religious practices, including divination, augury, and temple rituals, influenced Roman religious ceremonies and priestly roles. Tombs, inscriptions, and art reveal their cultural and technological sophistication, demonstrating a focus on engineering, metallurgy, and visual storytelling. Etruscan society also contributed to Roman social organization, political symbols, and military practices. The fusion of Etruscan techniques and beliefs into Roman culture exemplifies how civilizations borrow, adapt, and expand upon neighboring innovations. Etruscan influence laid a foundation for Rome's architectural grandeur, religious traditions, and urban development, leaving a legacy that shaped Mediterranean civilization and echoed through European history for centuries. 97. Olmecs created colossal stone heads in Mesoamerica. The Olmec civilization, flourishing around 1500 to 400 BCE in present-day Mexico, is renowned for its colossal stone heads, carved from basalt and often weighing several tons. These monumental sculptures, depicting rulers or important figures, demonstrate remarkable artistic skill, planning, and labor organization. The heads feature detailed facial features, headdresses, and expressions, reflecting the Olmec's attention to individual identity and symbolism. Transporting and erecting these massive stones required ingenuity, coordination, and communal effort, highlighting social cohesion and political authority. The heads likely served religious, ceremonial, or commemorative purposes, representing power, lineage, or divine association. Olmec art, including these sculptures, influenced later Mesoamerican civilizations such as the Maya and Aztecs, shaping artistic conventions, iconography, and cultural expression. The colossal heads remain enduring symbols of Olmec innovation, engineering prowess, and artistic achievement, illustrating how creativity and societal organization combine to leave a lasting impression on history. 98. Ancient Nubia traded gold and iron with Egypt. Ancient Nubia, located along the Nile south of Egypt, was a center of wealth, culture, and trade from around 3500 BCE. Nubians traded gold, iron, ebony, ivory, and exotic animals with Egypt, fostering economic interdependence and cultural exchange. Egyptian dynasties valued Nubian resources, leading to diplomatic, commercial, and military interactions. Nubian ironworking advanced metallurgy, producing tools, weapons, and artifacts that strengthened local economies and military capacity. Trade routes along the Nile enabled the movement of goods, ideas, and technology, integrating Nubia into regional and transcontinental networks. Nubian kingdoms, including Kerma, Napata, and Meroe, developed complex political and religious structures, drawing on Egyptian influence while maintaining distinct cultural identity. This trade enriched both civilizations and facilitated the spread of art, technology, and customs. Nubia's economic and cultural exchanges exemplify the role of resource-rich regions in shaping ancient interregional dynamics, diplomacy, and development. 99. Celtic tribes spread across Europe with distinct art and culture. Celtic tribes, emerging around 1200 BCE and spreading across Europe, developed a distinct culture characterized by art, metalwork, and social organization. They lived in tribal communities governed by chieftains and warrior elites, with druids serving as spiritual leaders, educators, and mediators. Celtic art featured intricate patterns, animal motifs, and metalworking in jewelry, weapons, and ceremonial objects. They built hill forts, settlements, and burial mounds, reflecting engineering skill and social complexity. Trade, migration, and warfare allowed Celts to influence regions from the British Isles to Central Europe. Their mythology, oral traditions, and religious practices shaped local culture and inspired later European folklore. Despite Roman conquest and assimilation, Celtic art, language, and traditions persisted, leaving a lasting cultural legacy. The spread of Celtic tribes illustrates how mobility, creativity, and social cohesion can shape regional identities and influence the historical development of Europe. 100. Ancient Anatolia hosted Hittite and Phrygian civilizations. Ancient Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, was home to influential civilizations including the Hittites and Phrygians between 2700 BCE. The Hittites developed early ironworking techniques, legal codes, and military strategies, establishing a powerful empire that controlled Anatolia and neighboring regions. Their capital, Hattusa, featured fortified walls, palaces, and temples, reflecting advanced urban planning and engineering. The Phrygians, who followed, were known for their distinctive art, religious practices, and the legendary King Midas, associated with the Golden Touch. Anatolia's strategic location bridged Mesopotamia, the Aegean, and the Mediterranean, facilitating trade, cultural exchange, and military campaigns. Both civilizations contributed to metallurgy, architecture, and artistic traditions in the region, influencing neighboring cultures. Ancient Anatolia exemplifies the convergence of innovation, trade, and political power, leaving a rich archaeological and cultural legacy that highlights its importance as a crossroads of ancient civilizations. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey through 100 facts about ancient civilizations. From the monumental pyramids of Egypt to the advanced calendars of the Maya, from the roads of the Inca to the palaces of Persia, we've explored the incredible ingenuity, culture, and history that shaped our world. We hope this video has been relaxing, informative, and inspiring as you drift into a peaceful, curious state of mind. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to subscribe to Heavenly Sleep Stories and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our future journeys through history, science, and amazing facts from around the world. We'd love to hear from you. What topics should we cover next? More civilizations, mysterious inventions, or perhaps fascinating nature and universe facts? Leave your suggestions in the comments, and we'll bring your curiosity to life in our next relaxing fact-filled video.